Pioneers are explorers. Pioneers are innovators. Pioneers are leaders. We are Marietta College. We are pioneers. Find out how you can become a PIO at www.marietta.edu.
An update on the train derailment in Ohio.
And a military incident killing 9 people.
We'll have these stories and more. News Center 15 starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Thursday's edition of News Center 15. I'm Evie.
And I'm Haley.
Topping our news this afternoon, Norfolk Southern agreed to only use Ohio-based businesses to clean up the site of the train derailment last month in the small town of East Palestine. The announcement was made by Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost on Wednesday. Yost said that he thought it was a good idea that the railroad hire statewide business to do work that could possibly take up 2 years to complete. No one was injured on February 3rd, the day of the train derailment. However, concerns over a potential explosion led by state and local officials to approve releasing and burning toxic vinyl chloride from 5 tanker cars, which forced evacuation. 15 Ohio-based companies are already involved in the ongoing cleanup. Norfolk Southern would be allowed to select an out-of-state vendor in an unlikely care that no Ohio companies have the expertise to complete specific work.
A state lawmaker has made a procedural move that could force a vote in the Ohio House on a proposal to make it more difficult to amend the Ohio Constitution, a measure that could impact the fate of protection against abortion rights. Republican State Representative Susan Manchester pulled a discharge petition on Wednesday that, if successful, would allow the resolution raising the threshold for passing future constitutional amendments in Ohio to bypass the normal committee process. To do so would require 50 of 99 members' signatures of the fractured Ohio House. We have gone through all the regular steps necessary in committee to pass this, and we are being blocked at every turn, Manchester said. Time is of essence. We need to ensure that we have a vote on the issue.
Hey, I wonder what the weather looks like today.
Here to provide us a first look at our current conditions is Addison.
Thank you, ladies. Well, what can we expect in the weather today? Nothing too crazy today. Looks like we're not going to get very much precipitation. Right now it feels like 43, but we could get up to about 61 degrees today. It's going to be partly cloudy, but sun is still going to be up. UV's up to about 5 today. Air quality is fair, and there's a little bit of pollen in the air for those with allergies. There's a little bit of wind coming out of the north-northwest, and the humidity's sitting around 30%, and you can expect that sun to set around 7:33 p.m. tonight. That's all I have for now, but when we get back, we'll give you the look into later into the week. So thank you guys. Back to the desk.
After missing the majority of the season with a leg injury, Ohio State star guard J.C. Sheldon states that she is returning for a 5th-year season. Sheldon helped lead the Buckeyes to the Elite Eight for the first time since 1993. Sheldon posted to Twitter with the caption, "Unfinished business," and continued on by stating the loves being a Buckeye and cannot wait to run it back with her teammates. Sheldon only played 13 games this season, and Sheldon averaged between 19.7 points and 4.2 assists as a junior. Buckeye Nation is excited for her to see her return for one final round.
9 people were killed in a crash involving Army Blackhawks helicopters conducting nighttime training in Kentucky. Nondice Thurman, a spokesperson for the Fort Campbell, said this morning that the deaths happened last night in a routine training mission. A statement from Fort Campbell said 2 H-860 Blackhawk helicopters, part of the 101st Airborne Division, crashed around 100 miles per hour, about 30 miles northwest from the fort. The helicopter landed in a field near a residential area with no injuries on the ground. General John Lubas, the 101st Airborne Deputy Commander, said one helicopter had 5 people aboard and the other had 4. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear said the state would do everything we can to support the families of those who were killed.
7 California officers charged in death of man in custody.
Stay with us.
Hey, this is Kevin Love from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Right now, many of us feel anxious. Mindfulness can help you ease those feelings. My nonprofit is partnering with Headspace to offer free content to help you stress less. Head to kevinlovefund.org/headspace.
Here's to the straggly ones. The first ones. Hey, I look good with this ones. The black, brown, red, and gray ones. The itchy ones. The ones grown by Dad. The ones grown for Dad. The I nearly didn't do it this year ones. And the absolutely filthy ones. They all raise awareness, raise funds, start conversations, and save lives. Because whatever you grow will save a bro. Learn more at Movember.com.
It wasn't so much that social media was criticizing his son. That happens sometimes, especially after a loss like that. But when a post came up suggesting Terrence Williams II, a junior forward for Michigan, be left for dead in a ditch, his dad decided enough was enough. Terrence Williams Sr.'s profanity-laced response to all the haters was, in many ways, an expected byproduct of social media vitriol that bubbled up after the Wolverines blew an 8-point lead in a 1-point loss to Vanderbilt earlier this month, not in the NCAA tournament, but in the NIT.
Major League pitchers and batters aren't the only ones going on the clock this season. Big League broadcasters have also been using spring trainings to adjust the baseball's new rhythm in the series of rules changes. When the season opens Thursday, Major League Baseball will usher in the age of sharper, quicker, and more concise commentary. For a generation of play-by-play pros who grew up idolizing loquacious storytellers of Hall of Famer Vince Scully, it's been an adjustment, but not necessarily an unwelcome one.
When Baltimore prosecutors asked to vacate Adnan Syed's murder conviction and have him freed after 23 years behind bars, the request exemplified a growing movement within the American criminal justice system to acknowledge and correct past mistakes, including police misconduct and prosecutional missteps. But a Maryland appellate court ruling released Tuesday raised new questions about the rights of crime victims, whose role in such proceedings often comes in opposition to ongoing justice reform efforts. In interviews Wednesday, legal experts said the ruling could have serious implications in Maryland and beyond.
Prosecutors charged 7 California Highway Patrol officers and a nurse with involuntary manslaughter on Wednesday in connection with the 2020 death of a man who screamed, "I can't breathe," while multiple officers restrained him as they tried to take a blood sample. Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon announced that charges in the death of Edward Bronstein, which the LA County coroner said was caused by acute methamphetamine intoxication during a restraint by law enforcement.
A possible ban on the popular app TikTok.
And Melissa John Hart helping students escape a school shooting.
And what can we expect for our weather? I'll be in with a look for our extended forecast. Stay with us.
Where are we?
We are at Marietta College.
This is where we live at Marietta College.
When kids need medical care, they face life-changing experiences. They miss out on the things that make being a kid fun. Starlight Children's Foundation programs entertain and inspire hospitalized kids. Learn more at starlight.org.
Marietta, a place some people call home.
A place of athletes.
A place of discovery.
A place for the future.
Your plan.
Your future.
Go Pios.
Missouri Senator Josh Hawley attempted to force a vote to ban the popular social media app TikTok on Wednesday. Hawley states that the app digital fentanyl and gives the Chinese government access to data over 150 million American users. Republican Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky objected Hawley's motion, arguing that the ban would violate the Constitution and anger millions of voters because speech is protected, whether you like it or not. Paul continues by saying banning TikTok is a slippery slope, stating that the YouTube videos get censored all the time, but the company has a right to exist. I despise these people, but I'm not going to vote to ban them. We don't ban things that are unpopular in the United States, says Paul.
Actor Melissa Joanne Hart says that her and her husband helped a class of kindergartners flee the Nashville school shooting that took place earlier in this week. Hart posted a video stating her own kids attended the neighboring school. They were headed to their own kids' conferences when they heard the news that 6 people had been killed in a shooting. We helped a class of kindergartners across the busy highway, she said, her voice breaking. That they were climbing out of the woods that were trying to escape the shooter situation at their school. So we helped all these tiny little kids cross the road and get to their teachers over there. And we helped a mom reunite with her children. Hart said she had moved to Nashville from Connecticut because her children had attended a school near Sandy Hook Elementary when the 26 children were shot and killed in 2021. She said she had recorded the video Monday, but it was too raw to post that day. I don't know what to say anymore, she said. Enough is enough.
A Hawaii-based graphic novelist, a reporter for an offshoot of The Economist, and a contributor to The New Yorker are this year's winners of the Whiting Award, a $50,000 honor given to emerging writers. R. Kyoku Johnson is the first graphic novelist to receive this prize that was established in 1985. Other winners include Linda Kinsler and Stefina Taladrid. Every year, we look to the new Whiting Award winners, writing fearlessly at the edge of imagination to reveal the pathways of our thought and our acts before we know them ourselves. Courtney Hoddle, Whiting's Director of Literary Programs, said in a statement, "The prize is meant to create a space of ease in which such transforming work can be made." Previous winners include David Foster Wallace, Jeffrey Eugenes, and Susan Laurie Parks. The Whiting Ford Foundation bestows the awards annually on the new writers of fiction, nonfiction, poetry, and drama who show early accomplishment and the promise of making a lasting mark on literary culture. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, returns for its 20th anniversary, and there's a 4K HUD version of the cult classic Dragon Slayer.
Grant has the scoop with today's Hollywood Minute.
Fans of two infamous fantasy adventure movies, known for their special effects, have a lot to look forward to. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, is coming back to theaters for a 20th anniversary celebration. Fathom Events and Warner Brothers are showing the Oscar-winning film at U.S. cinemas on April 13th and 19th. The Canadian theaters on April 20th. Check fathomevents.com for theater locations and tickets. In 1981's Dragon Slayer was Oscar-nominated for its visual effects, but director Matthew Robbins says cheap home videos copies hurt the film's reputation. He says some indifferent persons who didn't appreciate special effects didn't make the effort to make high-quality copies, making the movie difficult for Robbins to watch. Now the cult classic is back on disc in 4K ultra-high definition with a commentary by Robin and his frequent collaborator, Guillermo del Toro. That's all for now in the Hollywood Minute. I'm Grant Moore. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Grant. Now we'll head to Addison for a look at our extended forecast.
How does it look out there, Addison?
Thanks, ladies. Well, there's not a lot going on right now. As you can see, as we look in our neck of the woods, there's really not a lot of precipitation throughout the entire country. When we look at the West Coast, there's a little bit more going on, but as we zoom back into our area, you can see there's really nothing going on. A little bit of cloud coverage, but frankly, past that, there's nothing to be worried about. As you can see, there is not a thing in the sky here. So let's go ahead and move on to our 5-day forecast coming up. Today, we already talked about today, we got a high of 61 and not much going on. But tomorrow, we're going to stay in that range with a high of 59 and a low of 57. Some chances of rain to look forward to. And then Saturday, we stay up there with a high of 66, but we could get down all the way to 33, and that cloud coverage from Friday is going to continue to roll on over. As we get into Sunday, we're going to drop down a little bit more with a high of 55 and a low of 37, and that cloud coverage is going to stay through the entire weekend. But as we roll into the next week, temperatures are going to rise a little bit. We got a high of 72 on Monday with a low of 52, and still some cloud coverage there. And then Tuesday, a high of 78 with a low of 62. Still some cloud coverage, but it is going to be heating up as we roll into spring and get into April. That's all I got for the 5-day forecast, so back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Addison. When we come back, Hunter will join us with an update from the world of sports.
See you in a few.
James Brown and Bill Cowher welcoming you back to the Midnight Snack Run.
This is one tricky obstacle course.
He's reaching, but he pushes it away. He's approaching a plate of iced cookies. He blows right by him.
Oh, the fridge.
Looks like he's headed for the soda. Wait, he jukes left, grabs the water bottle.
Now he's just got to get out of there.
Look what dropped from the sky.
Don't do it, Dennis. That's the way you execute a Midnight Snack Run.
Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer.
Go to takeahealthystand.org.
Marietta College, home of the pioneers. A small town on the Ohio River with a tight-knit community and tons of opportunity. Find a home here at Marietta College. Bring forth a pioneer.
What are we gonna do? Ta-da! Oh, every pony.
Liza, I just love how ponies are better together.
Me too. You know, same thing with Girl Scouts, Kamiko. Every day they make each other shine a little brighter.
And they make the world around them a better place. So join Girl Scouts.
And be a part of the friendship and magic.
And now we're back with Hunter for a look at sports.
What's been happening in the world of sports?
I can give you all a rundown right now. Well, today's the day. Opening day for MLB has finally arrived after its long-awaited return. Baseball is back with many exciting debuts and rule changes. One of the biggest debuts will be Jacob deGrom, who will be making his debut with the Texas Rangers against a rival of his former New York Mets team, the Philadelphia Phillies. deGrom will only be limited to 65 pitches for that game, but the Rangers are ecstatic to have him on the mound after his injury has plagued previous 2 seasons in New York. deGrom isn't the only thing making his debut today. MLB has implemented 3 major rule changes to its season to speed up play and help player safety. The biggest, the pitch clock. Pitchers will now have only 15 seconds to start their pitch motion, or they will be penalized with an automatic ball call. MLB is also banning the shift to hopefully raise batting averages. Having 2 players on both sides of second base, as well as all 4 infielders, must have their feet on the dirt on the infield. Finally, the bases have gotten much bigger. The MLB has changed the size of the bases from 15 square inches to 18 square inches. Dan Snyder's departure from the NFL is moving closer to reality. A group led by Josh Harris and Mitchell Rouse, another group led by Canadian billionaire Steve Apostolopoulos, have formally submitted fully financed bid for the NFL's Washington Commanders, according to a person with knowledge of the situation. 2 people confirmed the bid from Harris. Both spoke to the Associated Press on conditioning of anonymity Tuesday because the details from the bid have not been publicly announced. The Harris-Rouse group includes Basketball Hall of Famer Magic Johnson. Houston Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta has also been in the running. ESPN reported both bids came at Snyder's $6 billion asking price. Snyder is yet to accept an offer when the league's finance committee met Monday, so his future wasn't openly discussed. Finally, the NFL took another step at the owners' meeting to increase diversity throughout the league, while continuing to face criticism and a lawsuit for lack of representation among head coaches. Each team is now required to have a person in charge of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Currently, 15 clubs have a DEI head, and 2 others have someone leading that department and one another. They actually have to have specific roles and deliverables and that are in their job description. So that's a big thing, NFL executive Jonathan Bean said in an interview with the Associated Press. The reason why it's so important is we have to have some single point of accountability at the clubs, where they are focused on driving it throughout the organization, in football operations and coaching. In business operations, engaging with ownership to make sure that there is priority throughout the whole economy of the club. For now, that's all I have in the world of sports. I'm Hunter Withrow. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Hunter. Joining us now at the desk is Addison for our last look at the weather.
Well, I can tell you there's not too much going on this weekend. It looks like we are going to be heating up, so I know that excites me. I don't know about you guys.
I'm very excited for warm weather, and it's almost Easter.
All right, well, I think that's all we have for today. Thank you for tuning in to Thursday's edition of WCMO Television. Have a good weekend, and thank you.